Welcome back to my walkthrough of the Sonic Pi tutorial. In this one, I'm moving on to Section 2, Synths, and I'll also get into Section 2.1. So, Synths. Oh, let me turn on my thing that follows the thing. There, now you can see where my mouse is. Synths. Okay, enough of the intros, let's get into some sound. In this section, we'll cover the basics of triggering and manipulating synths. Synth is short for synthesizer, which is a fancy word for something which creates sounds. Typically, synths are quite complicated to use, especially analog synths such as Eurotrack modules connected together through a mess of wires. However, Sonic Pi gives you much of that power in a very simple and approachable manner. Don't be fooled by the immediate simplicity of Sonic Pi's interface. You can get very deep into very sophisticated sound manipulation if that's your thing. Hold on to your hats. Alright, section 2.1, your first beeps. Take a look at the following code. Play 70. This is where it all starts. Go ahead, copy and paste it into the code window at the top of the app, the big white space, black space, under the run button. Now press run. Alright. Copy and paste. And here we go. So it made a beep. Press it again and again. Seems a little unnecessary, but I'm going to go along with the instructions anyway. Whoa, crazy. I'm sure you could keep doing that all day. But wait, before you lose yourself in an infinite stream of beeps, try changing the number. Ooh. Alright, we got 75. Click run. I don't remember what the last one sounded like, so I'm going to put them next to each other for comparison. Alright, there we go. Try a lower number. Play 60. So lower numbers make lower pitched beeps and higher numbers make higher pitched beeps. Just like on a piano, the keys at the lower part of the piano, the left-hand side, play lower notes, and the keys on the higher part of the piano, the right-hand side, play higher notes. It turns out that C of the fourth octave, C in English notation, is identified by the number 60. Play 60 therefore plays the C of the fourth octave. To play the next piano key to the right, you have to add 1 to 60 and play 61, which in this case is the black key of the C sharp. To play the D, the next key to the right, play 62. Here we go with I'll go back to 60. Sounds like that. 61 sounds like that. 62 sounds like that. Playing a note is quite fun, but playing many at the same time can be even better. Try it. Jazzy, it says, and I kind of agree. So when you run multiple plays, they all play at the same time. Try for yourself. Which numbers sound good together? Which sound terrible? Experiment, explore, and find out for yourself. How much more is there in this section? There's a fair bit. So I won't take too long on experimenting, but let's go for 70, 75, and 80. 81. 82 and 74. 73 and 83. 72 and 84. 74 and 82. And 83. 75 and 84. That one doesn't sound so good. How about 75 and 85? Interesting sound. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's move on. So playing notes and chords is fun, but how about a melody? What if you wanted to play one note after another and not at the same time? Well, that's easy. You just need to sleep between the notes. Play 72, sleep 1, so on. You You'll see it when I copy it in here. Nice little minor chord for those who know music theory. How lovely, a little arpeggio. So what does the 1 mean in sleep 1? Well, it means the duration of the sleep. It actually means sleep for 1 beat, but for now you can think of it as sleeping it for 1 second. That's because we're at 60 beats per second for people who want to know. 60 beats per minute. Oops. So what if we wanted to make our arpeggio a little faster? Well, we need to use shorter sleep times. What about half, i.e. 0.5? Oh good, it's typed out for me, so I don't have to go through and edit it. Let's try that. Plays faster. Nice. Change the times, use different times and notes. I'll do 0.25 and 78 there. That's kind of fun. We'll invert the times and then stretch out the notes and make them both faster. There was a typo in that, but it sounds kind of cool anyway. I really want to sleep 1 and play. I'm feeling like 68 is where that wants to land. A little quicker. 0.75. There. Nice. One thing to try is in between notes, such as play 52.3 and play 52.63. There's absolutely no need to stick to standard whole notes. Play around and have fun. Alright, this is going to hurt a little bit, but let's land on 68.34. $69.7. Oops. 69.7. Try that one. 9.6. Let's put that to 68.5. Take that to 5 as well. That's a weird feeling. Oh man, okay. Traditional note names. For those of you that already know some musical notation, don't worry if you don't. You don't need it to have fun. You might want to write a melody using notes names such as C and F sharp rather than numbers. Sonic Pi has you covered. You can do the following. We've got play, C, sleep 0.5, play D, notice the colon, and so on. Let's listen to that. Oh, this is kind of fun. Notice over here how when I play, you can kind of see the sound stepping from left to right. Pretty neat. Remember to put the colon in front of your note name so it goes pink. Also, you can specify the octave by adding a number after the note name. You got C3, D3, and E4. If you want to make a note sharp, add an S after the note name, such as play FS3. And if you want to make a note flat, add B, such as play E B3. Now go crazy and have fun making your own tunes. Don't mind if I do. Let's jump that up to 5. Then we'll do a sleep 0.25. Play. Let's see. What would E5 be? If C is 60, is it like 76? That's a guess. Let's try this. Was that the same? Oh, it was. Okay. 75.5. Do it by 8. Eight, 6, 4, 2, down to 75. That's a weird one. I'm gonna listen to that again. What if I make these a little more chaotic, like a 9, 6, 5, and a 4, 3, and a 2, 1. Neat. Okay, that's enough playing around with notes. Let's move on to 2.2. Synth options, amp and pan. I'll go back to, well, I'll just clear this out and see what we end up putting in here. Synth options, amp and pan. As well as allowing you to control which note to play or which sample to trigger, Sonic Pi provides a whole range of options to craft and control the sounds. We'll be covering many of these in this tutorial, and there's extensive documentation for each in the help system. However, for now we'll introduce two of the most useful, amplitude and pan. First, let's look at what options actually are. This is going to get a little bit technical, but bear with me. Options. Sonic Pi supports the notion of options, or opts for short. Opts is kind of hard to say. I think I'll stick with options for its synths. Opts are controls. Okay, I will say opts. Opts are controls you pass to play which modify and control aspects of the sound you hear. Each synth has its own set of opts for finely tuning its sound. However, there are common sets of opts shared by many sounds, such as amp and envelope opts, covered in another section. Opts have two major parts: their name, the name of the control, and their value, the value you want to set the control at. For example, you might have an opt called cheese, and want to set it with a value of 1. Opts are passed to calls to play by using a comma and then the name of the opt, such as amp : don't forget the colon, and then a space and the value of the opt. For example, play 50 cheese : 1. Note that cheese : isn't a valid opt, we're just using it as an example. Well, isn't that cheesy? Haha. You can pass multiple opts by separating them with a comma. Play 50, cheese : 1, beans : 0.5. The order of the opts doesn't matter, so the following is identical. Play 50, beans : 0.5, cheese : 1. Opts that aren't recognized by the synth are just ignored, like cheese and beans, which are clearly ridiculous opt names. If you accidentally set the same opt twice with different values, the last one wins. For example, beans : here will have the value of 2 rather than 0.5. Play 50, beans : 0.5, cheese : 3, eggs : 0.1, beans : 2. Many things in Sonic Pi accept opts, so just spend a little time learning how to use them and you'll be set. Let's play with our first opt, amp. Amplitude is a computer representation of the loudness of a sound. A high amplitude produces a loud sound, and a low amplitude produces a quiet sound. Just as Sonic Pi uses numbers to represent time and notes, it uses numbers to represent amplitude. An amplitude of 0 is silent, you'll hear nothing, whereas an amplitude of 1 is normal volume. You can even crank up the amplitude higher to 2, 10, 100. However, you should note that when the overall amplitude of the sounds gets too high, Sonic Pi uses what's called a compressor to squash them all to make sure things aren't too loud for your ears. This can often make the sound muddy and strange, so try to use low amplitudes, i.e. in the range of 0 to 0.5 to avoid compression. Yeah, I am tempted to blast you with a 100, but I won't do it. You're welcome. Amp it up. To change the amplitude of the sound, you can use the amp opt. For example, to play at half amplitude plus 0.5. The amp opt only modifies the call to play it's associated with. So in this example, the first call to play is at half volume and the second is back to default, which is 1. Oh wait, to play at double amplitude past 2. I'll go back to that one. A little louder. Well, let's go back to compare with 0.5. Hopefully you can hear that difference. There it plays 60 with 0.5 amplitude and then 65 with, it isn't specified, but it goes back to amplitude 1. Of course, you can use different amp values for each call to play. So here's an example of that. Well, that's a nice sound. Let's listen to that a few more times. Cool. Panning. Another fun opt to use is pan, which controls the panning of a sound in stereo. Panning a sound to the left means that you hear it out of the left speaker, and panning it to the right means that you hear it out of your right speaker. For our values, we use a -1 to represent fully left, 0 to represent center, and 1 to represent fully right in the stereo field. Of course, we're free to use any value between -1 and 1 to control the exact positioning of our sound. Let's play a beep out of the left speaker. Now let's play it out of the right speaker. Finally, let's play it back in the center of both, the default position. Now go and have fun changing the amplitude and panning of your sounds. I wonder what happens if I do it at -1 and play 60 pan :1. Sounds an awful lot like play 60 pan, I don't have to specify it, but just for clarity I will. Pan 0, amplitude 2. Let's listen to those. Do they sound the same or do they sound different to you? Honestly, the second one feels a little bit louder to me. What if I do this backwards? Now, let's listen to that again. Yeah, I'm convinced that this one is louder. Interesting. I think that's enough playing around with that. Let's move on to switching synths. How long is this one? Maybe I'll save it for another video. And how long is this one? Yeah, I'll save the rest for another video. Thanks for watching.